right, welcome back from that break, and it's time for us to get into some community-focused conversations. And Apioko has joined me this morning. Good morning to you.
Good
How
morning,
are you?
David. I'm well. How are you?
Yeah. Very, very well, thank you. Yeah, you people, you are not sparing us on the brightness on the show, on the set.
Hey,
This brightness
do you want to say something?
Well, yeah, I mean,
Are you saying
I mean,
something?
Vivian was here earlier in the orange. Now you've come with your pink and things.
Well,
Yeah.
it's just what we do. It's just what we do. But welcome back.
Thank you.
From the wading in the waters of Ouija.
Yeah, no, that was quite an experience.
Yeah,
It's quite
I
an
can
experience.
imagine.
I think, I mean, we'll delve into that, but I think one of the things that for me was challenging is just the thought of the health aspects that we are not really thinking about because of the current situation that we find ourselves. People are not really thinking about the aftermath of what it means to have this water sitting there for 4, 5, 6 days.
I mean, that's a recipe for cholera.
It's a disaster waiting to happen.
Bilharzia. I mean, all sorts of things. Any kind of waterborne disease is an issue.
Yeah.
And so again, yes, I mean, and we've seen flooding, we've seen water destruction on different scales, different levels over the past few weeks in the country. It's not the first time it's happening. It wasn't born in 2022,
No.
this problem,
Yeah.
right? But a lot of the time, because we've had the conversations about farmlands, people being displaced, we've really not identified that these are health challenges, public health challenges.
So let me give a bit of context for our viewers, so you understand when we say health challenge what we're talking about. When you have flood waters like this coming through people's homes, coming through communities, and rising up to sometimes waste levels, sometimes even higher, right? What it means is that this water has gone through septic tanks.
Exactly.
Think about it.
Gutters.
It's gone through gutters. It's gone through septic tanks. It's
picked up rubbish.
The school that we went to yesterday. There was a property next to the school. All the boiler that was in the yard that was they were waiting to pick up the boiler. All the boiler was in.
It was having a field day swimming
in the water. Do you understand? That's what we're talking about. So even as you're standing, and in my mind, I was just thinking, as I'm standing there, I said, hey.
Is everything going to be all right?
Look, it's not easy.
No.
But you see, and this is, I'm in, I'm out.
Yeah.
That's not going to be my reality for the next day and the day after. But there are thousands of people, tens of thousands of people.
At least you could get home, take a bath, whatever it is.
Yeah.
In some cases, people won't have water supply
No.
because things have been shut down in order to protect the property, the equipment, the investments that the country has made in certain social and public amenities and interventions. And then we are even going too far. Malaria.
Yeah.
When you're growing up, when you're in school, the basic thing you know about malaria is that when there's stagnant water, it attracts mosquitoes.
Yep.
And then if you get the wrong kind of mosquito, that mosquito will bite you and you stand a chance of getting malaria.
Yeah.
And here we are. We like to believe that we've made a lot of progress as far as malaria is concerned, cutting down on the numbers of deaths, treating it. Now you can walk into a pharmacy near you if you live in certain parts of the country, because I know for a fact that's not the case everywhere. But you can walk in, get a malaria test if you see certain symptoms, a fever. Look, it is a public health challenge.
A major one.
It is a public health challenge. Yeah. So we shouldn't just say, okay, the people at Wager, the people at New Jabin, the people in Talensi, the people, Bagri Dam has spilled, the people up there, they are found, okay, sorry, we can buy it from another market. Yeah. It is a problem for each and every one of us. Yeah. Because all it takes is for the waters to decide to find another course when they go and hit another blockade in the next month or next year or next 2 years, and it will be your house.
Yes, true.
And you are the one who will be facing this challenge. Property lost, threat to your life, your electricity cut off, your water supply, potable water supply cut off, and then you're facing these health challenges as well that come with stagnant water pooling up in different places. So we have a real problem on our hands.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was in the community yesterday. After we went off the show, I still went further to talk to some people across the road from where we showed yesterday on the show. So we were in the Tatop area, you know, just showing where the Talent Royal International School was, that side. Then across the road is Tetegu. In Tetegu, there was a different experience that I had over there. And so let's take a look at this report that we have for you from my experience in Tetegu. So this morning, we've been reporting to you from the Gas South municipality. Earlier we were at the Tatop area across. So if you're coming from MacArthur Hill, it's on the right side of the road. Now we are here on the left side of the road in Tetegu. Now, as you can see, there's a whole lot of people gathered here because their homes have been flooded down there. And we're going to move towards that area. And now, the entire morning, I have to say that we did not see any evidence of NADMO or any first responders on the other side. But here, however, there's quite a number of them here. In fact, when we were coming in at the junction, we actually saw the Marine Police vehicle and then their boat at the junction, clearly indicating that they were here to act and operate to rescue people. You can see boats on the water over there. There's a family there. It looks like it looks like a family, a couple there. Other people have joined in the boat. So they're clearly operating here, you know, transporting people up and down in the water. If you come this way, looking towards inside the community there, you can see the water under the trees, heavily flooded there. And so this is where their homes are in there, and people are being rescued from there. Now, I'm not sure what this boat is actually going to do because it seems to be taking people towards the area where people are actually coming out of. So that's what we have there. And yeah, these are the guys who have been transporting people up and down. And so we have all of that. So this is what we have here today. And let me talk to a gentleman who's clearing water from his canoe and find out from him. Boss, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes. Boss, so talk to us about what has been happening this morning. You are in your boat, you are clearing water from the boat. What have you been doing? Transporting people up and down? How is it going?
We have been climbing money. If you are going, you take you money. If you are coming to, you take you money.
Okay, so if I wanted you to take me and my crew, there are two of us, how much would you charge us to go across the water to the other side?
100 Ghana.
100 Ghana cedis. Wow, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, that is it.
Hey, so this is like cocoa season for you?
Yeah, this is the time to get money.
So are you sure if we gave you 50 cedis, you will not go?
50 cedis is not enough.
It's not enough?
Because we are two.
Okay. So
I am a mate.
You and your mate.
Yeah.
So you'll be rowing the boat
and
then steering the boat to go across.
Yes.
I see. Okay. And at what time did you realize that you have to get your boats ready so that you can start moving people? When did the water come to this level?
Oh, the water.
Since yesterday or today?
Yesterday, 3 days today. Oh.
3 days today. It's been like this.
Yes, 3 days today.
Okay. So roughly how many people do you think you have transported so far in terms of taking them to wherever they want to go?
Or at least 7 people.
Today?
Yes, please.
Okay, but in the last 3 days, how many people?
Okay, let's assume since 3 days today I was not around.
Okay.
I went to work, so yesterday so I came house and I saw that the water entered my room. So I decided to go and to take the boats.
Okay. But you are or normally are you a fisherman? Do you have how come you have a boat?
Oh, it's for my brother.
Okay. So you yourself didn't go to work today?
No. Okay. Because of the water. And my mom too is over here, so I can't leave my mom and go work.
Okay.
So I have to stay with my mom and look after her.
Okay. So the water in your room, is it coming down or it's still there?
Still the same. If you enter my room, the water will be at the place.
Really?
Yes.
It's very serious.
I live at here. Yes, here.
Okay.
At the park.
Not far from this place.
Yes, at the park.
Okay.
So if I enter, so I left my things in the water, TV.
So where's mommy?
Mommy's over here.
Okay.
She's
So
the
you
over
move
there.
here to this side here, so that's
Yeah.
So here we have it. We can see NADMO has arrived with a boat. The guy we were speaking to is clearly frustrated and upset because his argument that no one was coming to their rescue. Well, NADMO's here. NADMO has brought their boats and they're going to go over into the neighborhood, and hopefully that's going to help because not everybody can afford. Not everybody can afford 100 Ghana cedis. Of course, NADMO is not going to charge anybody for rescuing them. So, thank God for NADMO coming through, and I think it's an important intervention. I really wish they had been here earlier, but yes, some people have already paid the amount of money that has been requested by the the boats. Owners, for ferrying them up and down the waters. So there's a gentleman here who wants to speak to us. Yes.
But this boat has taken too long. This thing started 4 days ago. It's just only today that they were bringing this, and the area guys has managed and brought people from the site to this point. Now that they were bringing boats, so what are they coming to do? For a long time, and if disaster like this, we depend on NADMO. So why should NADMO come here today, now, by this time before they were bringing boats? What are they coming to do? Who are they coming to pick? That is my question.
So basically, what you're saying is that if any major disaster would have happened and people would have lost their life, it would be too late by now.
It will be too late. It's too late. They were just coming to, tell us what happened, but they didn't contribute in the disaster. You understand? By this time,
how have you managed in the last 3 days since all this water has become?
We use our canoes. The ones the fishermen, they use their canoes help people because there's other tribes who are not airways, who don't know anything about the river or water flow like this, how to swim. So we have to arrange the guys to go and pick the people from there to this place. You understand? They work day and night. And we have to arrange ourselves, cook at the joint there. If you see, that's the point there. They cook there and they share the food to people who work the whole of the night. You understand me? And what NADMO is doing about it? Even when they come, they have to give the boys something to eat. They didn't give her, not even water, and they just put boat on the river.
So is this the first day you are seeing NADMO?
Yeah, for me, this is the first time I'm seeing them. I don't know what they are doing. They only come here and made an announcement. Yesterday, I heard them making an announcement that they have nothing to do, so people should leave the town. And people should leave the town. We have people down there. Like almost 200 miles now, down there. Who is going to bring them? We don't need the people to carry out from the river. We are out already. But we need something to eat and water. So what is the government doing about it?
The issue of food to eat, the issue of water to drink, all of these things are things that NADMO should be providing. They're here, fair enough, and they've come with a boat. But they have not seen any supplies, they've not seen any provision that will help support them even in their situation. So, well, this is what we have here.
All right.
Yeah. So there you have it. Yeah, it's a very dire situation. And as the gentleman said, we need food to eat, we need water to drink.
Yeah.
That's pressing at this point.
Basic human needs.
Yeah, and I think that one of the things that we often hear, when NADMO shows up in any community after a major issue, is that they brought supplies. Yesterday, I saw no supplies, nothing.
And even with the intervention facilities, I saw only one boat. Is that the only boat?
That's the only boat that I saw.
And it's not motorized.
It's not a motorized boat either. It's a paddle boat. You know, so to think that NADMO was showing up on the third day with a paddle boat, I was like, something's not right. Something is not
Were you
right.
able to engage any of the NADMO officials?
So you see the level of flooding that's taking place in the community there. Those are some of, you can see it's bad. It's bad. But you see, a lot of these settlements, almost the entire area we are seeing is actually wetlands that have been converted
into livable spaces.
Yeah.
Well, livable in quotes.
Which is dangerous, you know. And so it's not strange that the water spillage has created this. It's not strange because these are actually wetlands.
Right. So people have put up buildings and waterways.
Yes.
And when we talk about a waterway, it's basically the course that water is supposed to take
So
when it overflows its banks or it's moving through an area that's not as usual.
So you could actually
see containment.
So when we're there, we could actually see. Yes, exactly right. So when we're there, we could actually see the river within the flood plains. We could actually see the course of the river actually moving.
Yeah.
You know, and you can see that this is where the water passes. This is where
that's where it's supposed to pass.
This is where it's supposed to pass, right? Now, wetlands have a very, very important function. They are supposed to hold water from mainland.
Right.
Hold water and slowly release the water into the sea. That's the whole idea of a wetland.
Exactly.
So what we've
so a bit of the water goes into the soil, a bit of the water flows to the right, to the left, you know, so that you're slowing down
it's a slow
the movement of the water.
Now,
and then in some cases, a human intervention like a dam will come in to further support, you know, that kind of containment of the water. But if you're building houses, story buildings, shops, all sorts of things on the wetlands, then you're obstructing the path of the water.
And water is a very, very powerful force. Not only will it find its way around no matter what, but it will submerge you. I mean, water is not, you know, it's not to be toyed with, you know. So, on one hand,
it will literally come with force.
No, it will. It will.
You know, it looks like, it's moving slowly.
Yeah.
But if it needs to move and it's facing some kind of blockade, it will move.
It will move.
With force.
Yeah.
Reason why water in the right volumes can actually break walls, concrete walls.
Yes. And so I think that we play too much in this country as part of the problem, because there are authorities that have watched on as people took over those lands. They sold the lands illegally. So let's assume that the people didn't illegally possess the lands. They actually paid for the lands to the right people. Then whoever sold the lands illegally sold those lands, because wetlands are out of bounds by our laws. No one is supposed to build in wetlands. So an illegal transaction has gone on. Some people have benefited from it and created this mess that we are seeing now in the Wager Enclave. All right? It is crazy, but this is Ghana. This is a photograph of who we are as a people. This is what we have done. Okay? Our people in authority, administration after administration, have given permits to people to build. In wetlands, we are not correct. We have given permits to people to build in wetlands. That entire stretch that you're seeing there are wetlands.
Yeah.
You should see, there's some footage that we can't even bring you. Trucks. Water has gone to the window level of trucks in some parts. That shows you how low the land is.
Yeah.
Do you see the thing? That shows you how, because if I could walk in the water, it means that, and the water was at my knees, it means that that's the level of the land.
Exactly.
Then there's some other part of the land where the water is at the window of a truck. That shows you how low that place is. There is no way anybody should be building in that place. But there are block factories there.
And I bet you that block factory didn't pop up in 1978.
No.
When the Wager Dam came.
No. It's
as an intervention.
It's a more recent thing.
You see?
Yeah.
So if within a 40+ year period, buildings have sprung up, over those 40 years, what have we been doing?
Yeah, exactly.
And assuming we didn't know that this level of devastation could come to us over the past decade, the past 15 years, what have we been doing?
Yeah, but how can we not know, Happy? Because we have engineers. In the district assemblies, they are engineers. Do you see? So these people are the qualified people who understand water engineers, civil engineers, mechanical engineers. They know how things work. These are the technocrats. They know how things work and they understand these principles better than you and I do.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, if somebody goes and gets a building permit and it's a legitimate building permit with all the markings of legitimacy, of legality, and tells you I've paid X amount of money, for the land, and we know how expensive land, real estate is in this country, especially in these parts, the southern parts, Greater Accra, you know. So somebody tells you, this is what I have, this is how much I've paid. Then really, at that point, what can the engineers and
so somebody above them has ridden over their heads.
You understand? Or somebody who has access to critical functions has done that. And at that point, really, what does the engineer do? The public development consultants, all those, what do they do?
Well, our colleague, Umaru Sanda Amadou, was in the same locality yesterday, had a conversation with the MCE as well as NADMO personnel. Let's take a look at this one.
Let me just speak to the municipal chief executive for this area. He understands this geography better than many. Mr. MC, so where are we now and where are we going to?
Where we are now is called Chukome, which is in the Gasouth Municipal Assembly. You know, we share boundary with the Gasouth. So that is where the estuary is located. We did open it somewhere yesterday. And I believe we'll witness what is happening over there. It's very active, which is taking the water out of the community. And I believe by close of day, we should have the waters receding in the communities.
It's a strategy to get more of the water out of the community.
Absolutely, that's it.
The water is stagnant there, so you have to find route for it because water will naturally flow into the sea.
You know, we have two outlets. One is at Riaboman. That one is naturally active. But then this one is added to it anytime we have a lot of water in the community. This is just a support to make sure we get all the water quickly out of the community.
The Director General of the National Disaster Management Organization is actually leading this team too. He's also on the boat with us. DG, rescue efforts are not new to you. Moving in water bodies, searching for people who may have been trapped is not new for you. But since you've been touring the communities today, what has struck you the most?
Yeah, well, I think we need to do a lot of demolition, and I'm happy the MCE and the Assembly, they have started already, even though people have been insulting them and whatever, but I think they need to continue, because looking at where the spillage was done, and it was going through, but the buffers of the rivers, people are staying there, people have built unauthorized structures. You know, initially the place was supposed to be for irrigation, and they have taken there illegally. The Assembly hasn't given anybody's permit there. So I think when the water recedes, we need to do more demolition, which the Assembly has been doing, so government need to support the Assembly. It's illegal in the sense that that place is not earmarked for construction of buildings, houses, you know, houses for people to live there. The place was initially for irrigation purposes, and they are buffers of the rivers. You know, buffers of our rivers should not be used for construction of houses or other development. This is purely a natural disaster. You know, it is natural because the Wager Dam is full. If you don't spill it, you also get problem.
It will collapse.
It will collapse.
And you don't want to do that.
You don't want it to collapse. So we need to spill it. You need to open it. The moment you open it, it has to pass through its course.
But can we open it in a regulated manner so that it doesn't affect people?
It depends on the level, you know. It depends on the level. you know, the Wager Dam, the level should always be at 47 or 47 point something. But at this time, it has gotten to 49. You know, when it got to 48, they were waiting to see maybe it won't get to 49 so that they will maintain it. But it got to 49. When it gets to 49, we might spoil all the turbines and everything, and therefore they need to spill some of the water.
So what key things have you done? What key interventions, apart from rescuing people, what else are you doing? Are you giving them supplies? Do you have enough?
Yes, when there's disaster, people call for relief items first, but no, we need to do rescue, search and rescue. And then we do assessment. These are all part of the assessment. Currently, the headquarters of NADMO is getting things ready. By this evening, it will get to the assembly, and by tomorrow morning, we start giving them relief. We have relief.
TV, we are at the estuary now, which is the point of intersection between the water from the community center into the sea. Now, to my left, as you can see, the water flowing into the sea. This is where the water is supposed to terminate. This has been opened to ensure that water moves in, and it is indeed moving swiftly. These are volumes.
They have the MCE as well as the NADMO boss. Now, Apioko, I get all sorts of upsetting feelings when people in authority speak in certain ways, right? A few things jump out at me watching this. A few things jump out at me. The first one is that you do search and rescue, but if you are doing search and rescue, is it day 3 you're coming to do search and rescue? Search and rescue, the person would have drowned. If they were going to drown, they would have finished.
Yeah,
they would have drowned already.
To go, or they couldn't
don't know.
get out the
If there was something, search and rescue,
deal.
you do search and rescue as a matter of emergency. You don't do search and rescue after 3 days. Who are you rescuing?
By day 3.
By day 3.
We are doing mop-ups.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, did anyone drown that we didn't see?
Day 1, day 2, day 3. Then we understand you are doing search and rescue. You started day 1.
Unless, of course, they want to tell us that they didn't have access to the place because the water levels were too high, or they just couldn't access.
But we know what the
community.
water levels were.
I'm just saying, unless that's what they're telling us.
We've been the community. We've seen the markings on the wall where the water levels were. We've seen it. So it's not, and the people live in those communities. They are not first responders. They live in the community. That's what they are. That's their reality. That's what they got to live with. Okay. Now, we sat and watched them build where they weren't supposed to build. And so now we've come to accept that these people are a community that are there legitimately. And so if that's what we've done, then search and rescue, I don't understand why it's happening on day 3. Because from everything that I heard, speaking to the people that I spoke to, that was the first day NADMO was showing up.
I mean, of course. I mean, you even spoke to them, some of them live on TV, and
yes.
we heard them, and those questions
yes.
came up.
And in some parts, they hadn't even seen NADMO in some parts.
At all.
Yeah.
Right? But again, let's not forget that in this community, so the Wejak Bawe area, and particularly, so you went to Tap Top.
Yes.
You know, a few other places within the municipality. They actually haven't seen this happen before whenever the Wager Dam has been spilled.
True.
Because in the past, as we've learned, the Wager Dam would usually spill through 2 of their waterways. So throughout their water gates, right? And there are 4 of them. But this time, the levels, with all the floods, all the raining happening around the country, the River Densu overflowing its banks, all that, now they've had to spill through 4 gates. And they didn't do it in bits. A little bit here, a little bit there. They just opened the floodgates and everything poured out. So, I mean, of course, that's why people were saying that, look, we haven't seen this happen before. I've lived here for 10 years. I've lived here for 5 years. I haven't seen it happen before. They spilled the Wager Dam. I've never experienced this before. So, unfortunately, which shouldn't be the case, like we were saying yesterday, NADMO, every first responder, every emergency entity, they should have a plan that what happens in the case where a day comes before Christ comes, where we are going to have to spill through all 4 gates of the Wager Dam. And we know that the water is going to move past where we are usually used to seeing it move to. What happens in a case like that, and how do we respond to it? How do we ensure that life and property is preserved and saved, right?
Yeah.
Clearly that didn't happen.
No, it didn't. No, it didn't.
So now everybody is saying, we didn't expect this.
We are playing catch up.
We didn't expect this. It has never happened before.
Okay.
Even the people who shouldn't be saying it are saying it.
The question I ask myself is that, why didn't you expect it? I don't understand that. Because think about it, right? This is a very simple thing. It's about engineering, right? Any civil engineer can tell you how these things will work. First of all, you have information from meteorological department agency. They're telling you that this is the amount of rain that is coming.
Yes.
You are watching.
And it's going to November.
Yes, you can see the Densu. You can see the Densu rising. You can see that if 3 more days of rainfall is going to come and add to what we are seeing in the Densu now, this is what is going to happen downstream. If this happens downstream, this is what is going to happen in the wager. If it happens in the wager, we may have to spill. If we're going to spill, what's going to happen to the communities? Then the day that the person is opening the gate to spill, was NADMO informed that we are about to open the gates to spill, and this is what is going to happen because we've never spilled this much before? Then I don't understand.
You don't understand because you can't understand it. It's not meant to be understood. It's not meant to be understood, but that's what happens. I mean, in other parts of the world, there are emergency response plans. That this and this and this will be done in the case of this and this. And sometimes whatever happens, like we're in 2022 and we're hearing that, oh, this hasn't happened before. This probably hasn't happened in a century.
Yeah. But they're ready for it.
Or in 30 years. But because there's a plan
in place,
laid out, regardless of whether you, David, you are the one in charge 30 years ago, or it is me, Apiko, has come in 2022. The plan is there and it is executed.
The people, and this we're going to take a look at the Bagri Dam spillage in just a second, but the people who were running the operation for the Queen's funeral were not born. They were not born when the Queen was coronated.
No.
Right? They were not born, but the plan was in place.
Exactly.
And look at the seamless way
and
they
every
operated.
year they went
then you will
plan.
have people, Ghanaians, making excuses. We were taken by surprise. It's an act of God. Just jokers. Let's take a look at what happened in the Bagri Dam as well, in the Talensi area.
Authorities of Bagri Dam in neighboring Burkina Faso commenced spillage of the dam on September 1, 2022 to prevent any breakage of the dam's banks. Spilled water from the Bagri Dam has completely submerged crops of all farms along the White Volta in 6 districts of the Upper East region. The farmers who have lost their farm produce to the spilled waters say they are left to their fate without any support. Since the spillage of the Bagri Dam and its impact on farmlands, government institutions are yet to visit affected farms to assess the situation and provide support services to farmers.
Yelmer sagani ka kuma ta ton ton shi Allah bata burkina dem ko la ba ka bata zan ta lala wabo so kwamu kan yana wo bon shi kamta abuzan muke da man ta ditika la en wahala an canta la fi so bata na ye gwamna ni bata ye o ta ka walni a ku man dituwa ti yel akane karan man ne ba walni salwala bon ko kala kan salba ka ban ban ye ni be nan won ka ba mu won ba ka be sa nan be
ko la sa to lo la pa be ne da fi Burkina Faso yu ko la ba Ghana na ta Ghana che en moment ba bona nenga de ne ba wa na gbe hin na ko la sa to lo la pa be ba ni nyane o yel menga de banka ko la se sa lo la pa de ba le min ta to no bon nenga mala ba mo nye potin o yel menga te se ba ti tumba to wa be ko la de me ba wa na fa lo de lo la sa me ba le min ba ta so bo
man bot ne wo bon zo to si wa bon yan zo la nan mon de ba wa na mo be bon zo gi yed sa to lo la si la ti song se ka ya woto ta to songte ti mi ti ba mo kan yan songte la song se ko na karget la na nyanga nga ma to ba mbutu se la fini la de wa yan songte me kin nga jimbe mo si jan pa.
The farmers want government to immediately assess the damage on farmlands and assist them survive.
Wana kela wana bo wana sa to lo la wa be
nama se sala kala bona more kula ma kilen ga bala bona ka zo kula ma di halata pa yi la to tina ka wum nan mo to ba wana to kula de to nan wa to ba son to bana en wana tina ka wum ba to
we tan se ka ba kan sal na di ban ta la ban tong na sal ni di ka ban dula ati yel kam no to mar bor ko ka te na bor ba to en song ni ne bombora ka television wel tene en sim song ni ne be bo shel kam inna nya zam wan kama jini to nyi ma jini kwa wan man ma jini wa na to ndi bombor lam za en ka shelina
awa na bihani te to ba to song to banya disaka o batawan banya kayana o mu batawan yu song to kan la ta gazi to dokro ba edit tita ma to ga ma putin na de simba e man le ko ba ko ndo wande de yemen o be bakanya di la department bata kan ko na song to fifi.
But the Upper East Regional Director of the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, Jerry Asamani, shared in the plight of the affected farmers and assured that his outfit will soon intervene.
As it stands now, most lands are submerged in water, and then reptiles are displaced in their habitats.
Now that's a report coming in from Talensi in the Upper East region of Ghana, and of course it was brought to us by our colleague Frederick Awuni, who is our Upper East regional correspondent for Citi News. Now, just to give you a little bit of context, at the beginning of September, we got wind of the fact that the Bagre Dam in Burkina Faso was going to be spilled. It was spilled, and it affects, as it usually does, you know, most parts of, or many parts of the northern parts of the country, including Talensi, a farming community you just saw. So we have on the line Francis Eno. He's the Upper East Regional Director for the Ministry of Food and Agriculture. Good morning.
Good morning, my sister.
Yeah, how are you doing, sir?
I'm fine.
Good.
Fine.
Yes, I'm well, thank you. I'm well, thank you. But the situation you're facing in the Upper East, I mean, the Bagre Dam was spilled in the first week of September. We are now in the second week, or entering the second week of October, and we are still seeing the effects of the spillage. For you up there, what is the assessment of the situation as far as the farmlands, the food? We know a lot of our food baskets nationally comes from those parts of the country. What's the situation?
Yeah, thank you for engaging me this morning, and good morning to your listeners. Yes, this year in our region, fortunately, the rain started early, became first. Around March, we had some rain. So people in the area along the river side planted their maize. So those who planted early along that one even harvested. Okay. Unfortunately for us this year, most of the farmers harvested the thing is fresh. They didn't let it mature. They cut it fresh. Yeah. So those who did not plant again, that's why you don't have much to be. But unless some people want you to plant in the second time, and these are the faults that most of them have been submerged. So the devastation is not like the previous ones where we have a lot of crops being. Okay. Like I was saying, this year, a lot of the farmers they planted early. Okay. And these three some of them have harvested. And again, the Bagre Dam too, this year was delayed. The opening was delayed as compared to the previous years.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So usually when this happens and we are dealing with rains, some flooding, you're also dealing with the spillage of the dam. I mean, how are you? I mean, this year it's because the rain started a little earlier that we had the farmers being able to plant in most cases and then harvest early. But in a situation that is different, there's no rainfall, the rainfall comes later, and then you're still dealing with the effects of the waters, the floods, the spillage. How do you deal with that, and how do we protect the crops?
Yeah, that's one. When the crops are not mature and there's nothing that you can do. There's nothing that you can do. All that you do is that maybe when the water recedes, then our farmers are encouraged to crop use the leguminous crop, particularly cowpea. So you normally support them with a cowpea seeds for them to plant, to support them for the loss that they had actually suffered. So that is what we normally do. But because the thing is, it's an annual ritual. We advise the farmers that these things are coming. So, you know that every year they come. Although last year we didn't experience something like that. But as soon as they open the Bagre Dam, so those who want to plant, you plant early and then harvest early so that you not suffer that one. We have been advising them, some take and others to also respect to do that one. So those who went in for the second planting, unless some even went for the third one. That's one. Because of the situation, my officers are still comparing the reports. We send the messages here. So maybe in due course, when you get the figures as to how much damage has been done to those who planted the second or the third time, you'll be able to provide to our women and get response.
Okay, Mr. No, my final question for you. Yes, like you mentioned, this has become a ritual because this is what happens and this is how you as a leader in that community and then the people who live there have managed to learn how to deal with the situation. But have there been any conversations with your Minister of Food and Agriculture, with, your regional minister, any of the other, or your MPs who have jurisdiction over the different constituencies within the area? Have there been conversations? Have these conversations reached the higher echelons of governance so that we can look for more desirable ways of dealing with this, so that we don't even have to talk about losing crops in the first place?
Yeah, I think the permanent solution to this is the damming of the river that the government has started.
So the Pralugu Dam.
Yeah, Parugu Dam. So we are all praying that this project will be hastened and it will come so that most of the water will be harvested to prevent this flooding along that the tank. This is a permanent solution. But for now, like I said, we are not be able to have the data from the district. So when it happens like that, then you inform the regional minister and then the national level that this is the situation, so that any intervention that will come into lessen the burdens of the farmers, you give it to them.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. We keep an eye on the situation and we hope that you're able to minimize the losses up there. Yeah, thank you very much. So we've been speaking to Mr. Francis Ano. He's the Upper East Regional Director for the Ministry of Food and Agriculture. Let's take a break. We come back and Breakfast Daily continues.